says we're live.
Yes, Noel Nielsen is live.
Live. So, everybody, welcome back. It has been, how long?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
We were on before Labor Day.
We were?
Yeah, wasn't last week Labor Day? Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And my title here today is Back to School, because we're going to be getting schooled by Val tonight. That's how I think
we are gonna have the youngest guest we've ever had on.
Come on.
Actually, the youngest guest, Val, was 19 so far.
Yes, 7.
So
yeah, you know 7.
Yep. So you've got her by like 7 or 8 years tops.
7 or 8, yep. That's true.
Maximum. So everybody, thank you for joining us tonight. And I don't know if people are feeling the same way that I am feeling, but I am feeling tired. I am feeling tired right now. I think going back to school and having kids going back to school and getting back into the routine of school season is just kind of exhausting a little bit.
I actually think it's the opposite. I think it gets us back in routine. It allows us forces us to get up earlier in the morning, or should I say me? And the kids aren't bitching about what to do today and all that jazz.
Did you have that? Did you have that? I didn't have that.
Well, let's be honest, my wife had that, but then I had to hear about it from my wife, and so she was happy when the kids went back to school, so that makes me happy, because happy wife is, happy life, of course.
Well, and Val, I'm guessing you are happily moved on from that phase of life.
I am, but I get to hear my 2 little granddaughters talk about their ventures, and they changed schools, so they're both starting at a new school this week, so that was exciting.
Well, let's get to the topic today, because I think Val, in my opinion, is one of the influencers of video. I truly believe that, Val. When we first met almost a year ago now, you and I started talking about some of your video ideas, and we spun ideas, and I was all about you getting on camera, and you have totally embraced it. So let's talk a little bit about your branding that you're using with your OC Vibes, and how that's working, and how you're using video a little bit on a daily basis. And then we'll move into kind of the viral video that I can't wait to talk about.
Hey, before we do this though, Val, so we were talking about this before the show, and we were talking about excuses that people make about not getting in front of the camera. And Val was saying it's usually how I look, how I sound. And Noelle was saying, I hear people say, it's my age, I'm beyond that. Like, I don't know how to even turn on my computer. And if Val doesn't just throw all of those excuses out the window, nothing will. And if you don't follow Val, you should start right now, and we're going to tell you why you should.
Absolutely.
Well, that's nice. That's nice. Actually, you guys are my idols. Noelle, I think, is like, I watch you, and if I could be like you, that would be pretty amazing.
Stop.
And I think of things, and I watch it. Oh, I'd love to do that, but then but I can't copy her. So yeah, I do think that there's a lot of people have an excuse. Mike Quiddis talks about this all the time. But he said to me, look, the people who don't like you aren't going to do business with you anyway. So don't worry about the people that don't like you. And yeah, for me, certainly, I wish I were your age, but I'm not your age. But so for me, I worry about enough, and I'm certainly not tall enough. So I'm not tall enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not skinny enough. Don't have, can't wear makeup, or can't go without makeup like Noelle can. So, well, excuses, but how many excuses can you come up with? And eventually, the fun thing about being on camera is you don't have people watching you. And I have a couple of really funny stories about that, but you just get in front of the camera and you just pretend you're acting, really. Just pretend you're acting.
Yeah, well, and for the people that don't know, I'm about 5'1", and Val is one of the only people that is about the same size as me, and she does not let that deter her from being a bulldog on the camera. And so I want you all to go and watch her, because the camera makes her bigger than real life. Like, she is like, I don't know. To me, you embody what I keep talking about with people of like, it is to showcase who you are, who your brand is, what your personality is, and to give that handshake with the people that you're trying to do business with before you even step foot in the door. And so with you, I mean, all people have to do is go and watch your videos, and they know absolutely what kind of personality type you have and who you are. And I would pick you to be my agent out there.
Well, that's nice. That's nice. So I would pick you too. I think, Jeff, you can be my lender. How about that?
Thank you. God, I always get left in the cold on this crap.
No. So I've been a lender, so I can certainly appreciate your value. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Did you want me to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I want you to talk a little bit about the OC Vibes and what you've been doing with them.
So OC Vibes is a big, and Orange County is a big area, but here we don't have specific cities and we don't have downtowns. We have Orange County, and you can go across the street and you're in a different city, and across the street and the other way and you're in a different city. So we are Orange County. We're the OC. And so for me, my idea was to do something. And the other thing is that I've never been a neighborhood agent. I've always worked on referrals, and I was a lender for a while, and I worked for new home builders for a long time. So I worked wherever the business was, and wherever my builder was building, that was the city I was in. And then I became a lender, and I worked back where those people were who I sold new homes to. When I went into resales, I went back to the same people and have built on that. So I've never been a neighborhood agent. I never farmed neighborhoods. So when I wanted to brand myself, it just seemed easier to do the OC Vibes, because I'm so familiar with Orange County, because I've literally worked in a lot of these cities. I mean, I worked for home builders when some of these cities were first being built. I mean, I was one of the first home salespeople, which is now, a big city. So OC Vibes seemed like it would be a fun thing to do. And I met Mike Cuevas, probably about maybe 6-7 years ago, when he was the Chicago short sale dude. And I used to watch his webinars then, and he just totally intrigued me. I went to one of his masterminds in Chicago. So I was from there, and so it was easy for me. And he's just a wild and crazy guy. So they moved to San Diego, and I kind of saw what he was doing. And I said, I want you to do with me what you're doing with other agents. So we got started, and if any of you have seen the video, the first video we did together, Mike scripted, and that was I was on the beach, and then I was on a surfboard, and that was just, totally pretty crazy. Just got the idea of playing on that. So one of my future videos was when I interviewed a restaurant on Balboa Island, and I don't really ride a bike, and I certainly don't skateboard. So I bought a scooter at Target and rode my scooter into the restaurant.
I saw that.
Yeah, and then I interviewed a fish restaurant. So I bought there's a true story. I bought a fishing pole at Big Five and little plastic rubber fishes. We went down to the pier. I happened to have a fishing hat. So then we started that video with me fishing and saying, did you ever go fishing with your dad when you were little and dream about what you wanted to do? Because that was the story of that restaurant owner. He literally had gone fishing with his dad and dreamed about opening a fish restaurant. So for me, it's just kind of making it funny and kind of, laughing at myself and, doing the duck thing at Huntington Beach Pier and all of that stuff, just kind of made it funny. And hopefully if I laugh at myself, some other people will too. I'm not going to be, look, I'm not your age. I can't change that. I'm not going to be the agent in certain parts, I'm not probably going to be the agent who sells, $50 million houses. I don't, and that's not what I am, but I am me, I am me. And so for me, it was, and I know so much about Orange County that it only seemed natural for me to play on that, because I know it better than anybody else. I've probably sold over 10,000 homes in Orange County. And I used to do 400 and 500 loans a year, Jeff, with a team of 3 people. And
Holy cow.
I've done a lot of them in all of these areas. So it just was natural for me to do something on that level.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you know, the thing that I love about it, Val, is that you have total confidence, and you should. You have an amazing history in real estate, and you should be playing off of that. And that confidence comes across in your videos, and you come across as an expert in your area, which you also should. And that's all you need for confidence to get on the camera, people. That's all you need. That I don't know how to explain that any better. If you are your local area expert, or if you know the restaurants and the events, another thing that Val is really great at doing is highlighting local events. I've seen several of your things, and then every time I watch those, I'm like, I need to be doing more of that, right? You're just so great at it. And that's what you need. You need to just be the local expert and have that come across in a story-like way, which Val is an expert at doing. So are you scripting them out before you go, or do you just kind of have some bullet points? How do you do that when you're coming on video?
Some of them I'll script. I started script, but then I would do them over and over and over again because I didn't get my script just right.
Mm-hmm.
And a funny story about scripting, I went to New York City a couple years ago and wanted to do one at the Bowl down by Wall Street. So I wrote my script out, and I had it all ready, and my husband was going to videotape me. And of course, he couldn't do the video with my phone and hold my script, which usually he would tape it to his shirt. So there's a lady in the crowd waiting to have her picture taken. And I said, do you want to earn $10? And she said, yeah, sure. I said, okay, you stand here and you hold my script. So she stood, I snuggled her up next to my husband. She held my script. At the end, I didn't have $10. I only had like, and so that lady, I gave it to her and she held my script. And so that was a nice day for that lady down on Wall Street. So finally, I got to the point that I really do know this stuff well enough, especially the areas, that if I just think about it ahead of time, then I don't really use my scripts anymore.
Yeah.
Let me say something about that too, because and Noelle, you'll appreciate this, but Pop and I have been talking about this lately, which is scripting or lack of scripting, because most real estate professionals, they know they need to be doing video, but they don't know what they want, so they show up to the video shoot and they're not prepared. And then what is a 2-minute video takes 2 hours, and it pisses my videographer off. And so, Val, I really appreciate that. Papa will appreciate this. Listen to that, people. She tapes the damn script to the person standing there. That's brilliant. That's simple and brilliant. Thank you for doing that, because
Yeah.
I think agents don't put enough appreciation, or they don't put enough time into actually pre-planning their videos. And that's why a lot of people get in front of the camera and vomit from the mouth. And I know you appreciate that as well.
Yeah, well, I'm big on bullet points and having kind of a story layout, but I don't do word for word, because the moment you try to do word for word, you catch on yourself and you don't sound authentic. And that's another thing that Val is amazing at. I believe it. Like what she says, she's authentic and genuine to the core, and it makes her a very likable persona on video. That's why I wanted to bring her on, because when I see a video from Val, I watch the whole thing. I watch the whole thing every time, Val.
Me too.
Well, that's
Me too.
nice. That's very nice of you. That's nice. And
Well,
Noelle,
you know what though, Val?
and I look at you, Noelle, and I say, well, I wish I could run, and I wish I had a horse, and I wish I had a little boy. And I'm trying to get my daughter-in-law to let me use my granddaughters in videos, which she won't, but she finally said I could use her dog. So
It's all about the props for me. I gotta have props.
absolutely.
Yeah, Val, we appreciate you too, though. We appreciate, because we see that you're watching. I see that you're watching me. I know you're watching Noelle, and we appreciate that. So it's all a reciprocation thing. That's just a social media game as well, is support each other. And that's another reason why we love you so much. Because we see you at events, and we see you being active on social media, and that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
So it's something about, everybody being confident. So, I'm writing a book, and everybody has a fire inside of them of something, or they wouldn't have gotten into our business, right? They've got a desire to sell and convince somebody that they should be trusted. And so I think what people need to look at is, what is that? What creates that fire inside of them? And what is it? You know, we have colleagues, one who was a midwife, and she's amazing because she cares about people. And there's a lady in San Diego that calls herself, you know, the real estate mama, because she's, you know, a family person. So everybody's got something. And like I said, I'm not tall, I'm not thin, I'm not, you know, beautiful. I just have what I am. So that's what I have to work with. So what I do know is I do know Orange County, and I do know real estate, and I do know events, and I've been doing it a long time. So it's what I have to capitalize on.
Well,
and I disagree. I disagree. Yeah, you are beautiful inside and outside.
Oh, that's nice.
And the fire inside is really the beauty that comes out, right? So I mean, you could be a really beautiful person, but if you have no fire or passion or excitement about what it is on video, sorry, I'm scrolling past. I don't want to just watch a video just to see a pretty face. Like, I want to watch a video because it's either got to entertain, educate, or give some kind of good content back, and then I'll come back and watch more of those videos. And that's
one thing that Mike Cuevas has done for a lot of people, and, you know, to give him some credit here, is that a lot of videos were just sitting down and, you know, oh, let me give you a market update. Well, how many market updates can you give, and how many do people want to listen to? And those tended to be really scripted. Well, you know, interest rates are up, interest rates are down, or whatever. And I've done some of those also. But to create them in a way that's fun, that people are going to watch, you know, how can you do that? So people will see that and say, whoa, I'm not going to click off until I've watched this, right? How can you attract someone to sit there and watch through the end of your video or the end of your market update or whatever this? And that's really the trick, to come up with some way that people are attracted to you.
Yep. So Val, I know you work with Mike on some of your videos. What happens when he's not around? How are you filming your videos? Is there any special equipment or no special equipment that you're using? People want to know.
This is my special equipment, my iPhone, and I do have a tripod and some other things. But otherwise, I have a guy in my office who works with one of my other companies, and he does most of my fee. And then we send it to him or to somebody else. I've got a guy in Canada that does some of my production, that edits them and puts them together. And you know, we make it very simple. There's no need for special equipment or a lot of money, a lot of expense. You don't have to have a professional videographer. We don't. Jeffrey started out doing my first ones, and it used to take us hours and hours to get through one, but we did it, and now we're down to where we can shoot them a little faster and get through them. So now it's very simple to do, and just have to have the confidence that this is all you need. You don't need anything special, no expense. So there's no excuses anymore. You know, it used to be, you just think about what it used to take for people to do what we do now with the cell phone. And then I even learned how to do like iMovie and put together some of my videos from my restaurants. iMovie myself, and the one I did at where I gave the kids the backpacks, I did that myself. So for me to be able to do that and learn that and add text and all that stuff, I mean, that's pretty incredible. So anybody can do it.
Hallelujah.
That's definitely a testament. Absolutely. So Val, tell the audience. I think there's two things Noelle wanted to talk about, but the first one that stands out to me, obviously your viral video was amazing, but you do consistent videos, like you said, in your marketplace. And is there any like rhyme or reason, or do you do any planning? Is there a consistency? Is it one a month? How often are you putting those out? So
I got the idea from somebody else too, was I'll give that person credit. They hear this, they'll know who they are. And we started doing like an event update on every Friday. And then that was a little bit too much. So now we're doing one every month. We talk about what's happening in OC in the coming month, so that people, we're not only giving credit to that event, but again, so people honestly said, well, I wanted to know what was up this weekend, so I went to your video, which was really great. So we did the Mother's Day one, we did the Kentucky Derby one, we did the Duckathon at the Pier one. So we do those about once a month. And then otherwise during the month, then we do something else that's, you know, other than our restaurant ones, our OC Vibes ones, we do something else that's maybe about the market or about a specific locale, or I'm doing one now, I'm preparing one now about a certain product type. So we've got a certain area where there are a lot of lofts being built where people can have a downstairs office. So we're working where we're just highlighting that type of housing. So that's another thing that we're doing so that we, again, become the expert. And people don't take the time to learn that. A lot of people don't even know what a loft means. So we're featuring that type.
Cool.
Love it.
Okay, Jeff, can we talk about the viral video now? I'm dying.
Actually, I have one more question. I'm sorry. I have one more question. You met Mike Cuevas 7-8 years ago, and you traveled to Chicago to see him. How the hell did he get you there?
Well, if you ever watched Mike, then he'd sit in his office going, he's a little what do you say?
Brash. Yeah.
And he was then, and he was a short sale dude. And everybody else at that time was trying to sell you short sale programs. But Mike was really more about the marketing. And I'm from the Chicagoland area, and so I liked going there, and it was a lot of fun. Actually, most of the people that were there half the people that were there from California. So I got to meet him, and it was always, whenever you go to an event, you always meet some great people. And so I've met other people who I'm still friends with. And then the short sale market, as you know, fortunately went away. And then I saw him come to California, and I thought that was amazing.
Awesome.
So then I saw him at a seminar. A title company hosted him an event close to me. So I went there and heard him do his presentation about videos. I said, I want you to do that for me. I want to be one of your victims. And here we are. He's
awesome.
he has an amazing mind. His mind doesn't stop.
Yes, you're right.
Let's talk about him becoming one of your victims.
He was, yeah.
In your viral video. How many views is that video up to? Do you know?
We have about 50,000 views.
Ooh,
very humbling.
50,000.
And the comments I got from people who, messaged me and, oh, I follow you, or, oh, you're my idol, and was so humbling. And I wish I could have captured all those people and, put my arms around and said, you guys can do this too. You all can do this. But what's really interesting is we got over 250 shares, people sharing the video.
I shared it. My sister took it and shared it. She doesn't even share any of my videos. It was.
So do you know the story about it? Do you know the story?
No, who came up with the idea? So everybody that is listening, you'll need to go on and find this video as soon as we hang off this call. It is a video where, let's talk about how did
what's the story?
So the story is you need protection. That's the story.
Go on.
Okay, so here's the true story. Now you're hearing it right from me. One Friday night, we were watching Shark Tank, and some guys came on to promote their product and said they had a video that had 40,000 views. So I got up from the couch, went to my computer at that minute and searched for their video, because any video that got 40,000 views, I wanted to see it, right? Mm-hmm. So I didn't, not the next day, not an hour, not after in that minute I got up and I searched their video and I watched their video, and my husband will tell you this, the gosh honest truth. I said to him, oh my gosh, I can do that for my business. And it was a product totally unrelated to real estate, had nothing to do with real estate. The truth of the matter is, I'm really going to tell you, the truth of the matter is the product, believe it or not, was a little piece of plastic that you stick into your vent, holds the sauce pod for your McNuggets.
What?
From their video, I have got to do that. I've got to do it. I couldn't sleep that night. I've got to call Noelle. And I thought, well, I don't know. It's going to be Noelle.
I totally would have taken that idea, Val.
I said, okay, I'm going to call Mike Cuevas. So sent video, I sent him the link and I said, this is my idea. Will you do it with me? And of course he responded, hell yes. So we talked about how we could change it to be for the real estate industry. And it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. It was the perfect segue. It's not like, I mean, you could see that. And I don't know, maybe everybody wouldn't. I immediately said, that is what I can do with that video. So we switched it and I wrote a little bit and Mike wrote a little bit. And the truth is I went down to his house in San Diego and when we got there, he made a trip to the 7-Eleven and bought a couple props and we filmed it right then and that was it.
That's amazing.
Pops at the 7-Eleven. And
It's amazing.
It's not like we planned it. It's not like we scripted it all out. It's not like we rehearsed it. It's not like we had a specific setting. We had him, me in my car and his videographer, and that was kind of it.
It's genius. And you know, so what I love about that, Val, that's a lot of people, that's one of the #1 questions that I get is like, where do you get your ideas? Well, I don't come up with a lot of my ideas necessarily on my own. I watch YouTube and I watch commercials and my brain is constantly thinking though about business and how can I turn what these marketing geniuses have already done into something for real estate. And that's exactly what you guys did with that video. And it worked. It totally worked. It was one of the best. I mean, I had video jealousy when I saw it. Oh. I was like, dang, I wish I would have thought of that idea. It was so clever. It was so clever and so good. But what made it so good is you owned it and you didn't care about who you were. Like that was what made the video so good. It wouldn't have been as funny if Mike and I tried to do that video. It was so good having the juxtaposition of you and Mike. And that's what I want to say is like, never be afraid to come out and be funny or be yourself in these videos because that it showcased who you were. And I love that.
And you know, the truth is that it did just work. Anybody that knows me knows that wouldn't have been a real story, right? Nobody knows I would have been in my car with Mike Cuevas, right?
Right.
And any of you guys that know Mike, yeah, there's a story here. And I have one client who I was really worried about. He's a really straight guy. And I thought, when this guy sees it, he's going to have a fit. So the second day the video's running, and sure enough, I get a phone call. I see he's on my phone. I said, hello, Peter. And I said, how are you? He said, I just watched your video. I thought, oh, no. And I said, what'd you think? He said, I thought it was hysterical. He said, I watched it to the end. He said, I knew something was up. I didn't know what it was. So he said, I watched it to the end.
And you know what, I think that's super important too for people to pay attention to. Some of those more risky ideas that you may not want to post or you might be afraid to post, but that you thought were a good idea. Sometimes there's still a great idea to post. I did a post about moms trying to work from home a couple weeks ago. And I almost didn't post that video because I was afraid of offending a lot of my stay-at-home mom friends. And instead, those moms messaged me because they totally resonated with the message. And I do think though that sometimes there are videos that people are putting out that maybe they should gut check some of them against, have a good team behind you. You had Mike knew if it was going to be good or not, but have somebody that you can, spin that idea off of and they'll tell you yes or no, like, yeah, that's good or no, no, that's maybe a little too off the wall. But for the most part, the
week before that, he was on a webinar with his own, and he mentioned something that was coming up, was about protection or something, and that everybody was silent. And we talked to each other, and I said, did you hear the response you got? He said, yeah, like no response. I said, yeah. I said, let's just do it. So we did it.
You know what's important to point out here too is you had an idea and you reacted. And that's where most people end up failing or just not doing anything, is they just stall. They just freeze. They come up with the idea and they stop. And I think Noelle would agree with this. When you come up with that idea, get it down and get to execution, because the more you think about it, the more you're going to talk yourself out of it. I do it to myself all the time. I have an idea and I'm like, I need to do this, and then I never do it.
And you have to spend the time on it. You know, that's the other thing. For me, video has become part of my lead gen. Like, that is part of my lead gen. I literally spent all day today filming a video. Almost the entire day. I started my day in the office and worked for maybe an hour and a half. And then I went out and filmed a video literally the entire day. And people ask me, how do I do that? Well, I time block it in. Like, I knew all week last week that today I was going to be filming all day. I'm filming another thing tomorrow afternoon. And then those videos will get me through like the next couple weeks. You have to time block it in, and you have to treat it as if it is part of your lead gen. So
that's true. Agreed. That's true. And Noelle, to this point about getting an idea, I mean, she had them, what you did with the Bachelor or the Bachelorette show was amazing. Was amazing. And afterwards I thought, why didn't I think of that? Right? In their cars, and they get out and they get interviewed, and it was perfect. And your intro into EXP, and then you showed your bloopers where you were diving into the lake, and who could have done a better job of that? You know, what a great job. So you certainly deserve a lot of credit for your ideas.
Well, thanks.
Again, TV shows or a commercial or something you see. If I hadn't been watching Shark Tank that night, I would have never gotten that idea.
Yeah, so watching TV is like doing homework for real estate people. Come on.
Yeah, sure, there you go.
And on that note, I think we can probably wrap it up tonight. Jeff, what do you think? Do you have any other thoughts?
You know what I am going to mention is, like I told you, we're moving offices tomorrow. So what do you think is going to be coming up in the next 30, 60 days? Another little parody, a little Cribs action.
You know, the Cribs thing, I had fun with it. I'm trying to think of how I can do my next one. I have one that I did a long time ago that I've been sitting on that I never posted. That may get posted eventually, a Cribs video.
You need to call Val and be like, I'm not posting this. I need to talk myself off the ledge. Talk me off the ledge, Val.
I probably won't. I'll probably say do it.
That's funny.
Well,
no, we're both going to be at an event. Oh, maybe you're not going to be there. No, you're not. I had some ideas for a video we should do together, but you won't be there in October.
I'm going to be in October, everyone. I am taking a month, like a half, 2/3 of the month, and I'm going to Malawi, which is in Africa. And I'm freaking out about leaving my business behind. But part of me being able to take 2.5 weeks and go there is planning ahead and having enough video content ahead of time to push out while I'm gone, so that it doesn't really feel like I'm gone. So
that's a good point. You know, Sharon, who I noticed actually jumped on at one point. I doubt he's still on, but if he is, hi Sharon, hope you're doing good. But he's taken, you know, a sabbatical. But you're not going to stop seeing him posting, and it's relevant, kind of relevant, kind of not relevant, but it is. And if you really want to crush the social media game, you've got to stay consistent. And if you're going to take time off, just schedule the stuff. But stay consistent for the algorithm. You have to do it. Val, what conference are we talking about? Are we talking about a conference in LA in mid to late October?
Just
no? A real estate conference, a real estate company conference. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, a mini conference.
Well, I was going to say, I've got several events to go to in October. So if you're going to be at the one that I'm going to be at, I'm going to find you.
Lots of if you're going to be in my area, or even if you're not, let me know.
Well, I'm always in Southern California, at least several times a year. So yeah. Well, and we go to the same, this guy right here.
Yep.
Yes.
You go.
Yes. And in December, huh? In the one?
November. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, good stuff.
Right.
This has been fun.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, Val, and for sharing your tips and tricks.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
And we will see you all next week.
Next week we'll be live. We'll be live in Detroit. I will be live in Detroit with our guests. Noelle, you will be in your office or living room or wherever.
I can't travel right now. I've got Parade of Homes here in Minnesota, and I picked up a new builder. Why? Because of video. I picked up a builder that is here in Minnesota, an awesome builder to have. It's starting at 1.5 and up. So
That's exciting.
I'm not going to leave here.
No.
Love it. Love it.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Have a great
Thank you for being on.
And we will see you next week.
All right.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye, everybody.